The Leigh Leopards have their man. Matt Moylan has signed on a 2-year deal from the Cronulla Sharks. What was your reaction to this?
Well, I've always really enjoyed watching Matt Moylan. I think he's a very creative player. I think he's lost his place at Cronulla this year because they're fairly well stacked in the half-back positions, and Craig Fitzgibbon, went with an alternative to Matt, I think, halfway through the year, and Matt obviously probably saw the signals and decided that he was on the way out, and I assume that Derek Beaumont and Adrian Lamb, I'm told that Adrian Lamb went over there, to have a face-to-face meeting with Matt Moylan to talk about his ambition for the Leigh Leopards, and sold the idea to Matt. So, Matt Moylan and Lachlan Lamb as a halfback combination, I think looks pretty exciting, I've got to say. And, and not just is Matt Moylan a very good player, but he's also very articulate young guy. He's in his early 30s now, of course. He's been playing quite a while. But he's an articulate guy, good-looking young bloke who I think will, be a good guy to have on the books at Leigh, for helping to market the club as well as play for it.
No, absolutely. And, for someone like Moylan who started his career at fullback and then eventually transitioned into the halves, you sort of saw around midway through his career, there was a few adjustment years there where he was kind of plagued with injury, but it took him a while to sort of find his feet in the halves. But now, I think it might have been in Craig Fitzgibbon's first year at the club, there was talk of him getting rid of Moylan, but he chose to stick with him and Nico in the halves, and Moylan had one of his best seasons in the halves, and unfortunately last year when they did have a bit of a downturn, he was the man who got axed and never really found his way back into the squad.
No,
so
that's right.
I think he's got plenty of years of football left in him. And
well, they've signed a 2-year deal, haven't they? So he's certainly got 2 years at the very least. So no, I think he's a good signing, and Leigh, it's an interesting sign, isn't it, for Leigh? They're not resting on their laurels. They're continuing to sign good players, consolidating their position in Super League. Obviously, they're looking for a Grade A license in accordance with these IMG grading systems. So it's all hands to the deck for Leigh, as far as I can see.
No,
and good for Derek Beaumont. He's, as I say, he's determined to keep improving the club, and it's great to see.
And we had a little discussion before. I said that if you had to pick between Matt Moylan and Anthony Milford, who was the other player being touted, if you're going strictly on form over the past 2 years, Matt Moylan is the better signing. So
yeah, Anthony Milford is one of those guys who was a shining star when he first appeared on the scene, wasn't he? But he didn't really fulfill that early promise, and that happens to some players, doesn't it? They look great when they're younger, but they don't kick on in quite the way that you might hope, and there are various reasons for that. Sometimes injuries play a part and so on, but I think Matt Moylan is a more reliable signing, perhaps we'll say, than Anthony would be. There's no doubt that Anthony Milford would give some moments of great excitement, but might also give some moments of sort of, heart attack moments as well. So, I think they've got the right man there.
No, absolutely. And I think they've also re-signed Rob Mulhern going forward, I think, as well. Another great retention for the club.
Absolutely, yes. Well, Rob Mulhern had a great season, didn't he? And he's had a funny career, Rob Mulhern. He's moved around a hell of a lot, and I'm not quite sure why that is. He was at Hull KR, then Warrington, now at Leigh, but he certainly seems to have found his, spiritual home at Leigh, and had a great year, and obviously played for England in the Test series against Tonga.
That's it. And sometimes it can just be finding that right coach and right system to really play your best football, and obviously he's found that at Leigh, which is great stuff for them.